and how exactly you utilize them. Stellaris takes place 200 years in the future, and the gameplay will essentially consist of colonizing and exploring, followed by governing. A lot of people are really excited about this game, and what it seems to promise, it's easy to understand why. Number 10, No Man's Sky. If you haven't heard anything about No Man's Sky by now, you are living under a rock. It's a procedurally generated space exploration game with 18 gajillion planets. The amount of planets almost seems like a made-up number, but this game features so many different mechanics, from trade to combat to exploration, and such a unique, beautiful art style that is, in all honesty, actually really impressive considering so much of it is procedurally generated. No Man's Sky is actually one of my highest priority games to play this year. Number 9, Final Fantasy 15. Another game that has been in development for an extremely long period of time, and seemingly has been trying to redefine what Final Fantasy itself can be. Looks largely as if it's going to succeed. Everything that we've played from this game has been promising. It's a gorgeous, beautiful game, and takes what we know of Final Fantasy and completely reinvents it in a manner that doesn't feel alienating. Number 8, Enter the Gungeon, which brings a lot of aspects of bullet hell and dungeon crawling into one retro packaged game that looks gorgeous, as well as fast-paced and challenging. Some of the weapons in this game look really innovative and fun, and it looks to bring a more complex angle to the arcade elements of this genre of games that we all enjoy quite a bit. Number 7, XCOM 2 brings the tactical strategy game into its next iteration and looks like it develops the core concept, which, let's be honest, with XCOM being the most successful in the tactical genre, it's probably a good idea to focus on that rather than try to reinvent the wheel. Number 6, Kingdom Come Deliverance is an RPG set in a medieval kingdom, but instead of focusing on spells and wizards and magic, instead it strives for historical accuracy. The game utilizes a classless role-playing system and does everything from including period-accurate armor and clothing to using only combat techniques that you would find in an actual medieval battle, which could actually shift the paradigm of medieval RPGs. Number 5, Stardew Valley is a Harvest Moon-inspired farming simulator where you play a character that moves out to the country to get away from their office job. You raise livestock, crops, craft goods, mine for ores, and also engage in all those weird social things that Harvest Moon had, including romances. It's a lot of fun, and the graphics are obviously about as nostalgic as they could possibly be. It's a game that Harvest Moon fans must try. Number 4, Dishonored 2 is a sequel to one of my favorite games, period. I love Dishonored. From Dunwall to the Empire to the aesthetic to the powers to the pacing to the story to everything. I love this game, and I absolutely love hanging around with the characters. So I'm excited very much to go back into that world and see what's happened after a few years, as well as occupy characters with developing powers that seem to very much expand on the scope of what Dishonored set out to do. Number 3, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, the Uncharted series is a very cinematic one, and it looks as though this is the final one of them. Now, we don't know what's going to happen to Nathan Drake, but we do know that this is going to be a game that improves on the scale of an already massive series. And as Uncharted has constantly defined the genre that it occupies, A Thief's End most likely will do the same. Number 2, Dark Souls 3. Perhaps one of the most difficult series in gaming is Dark Souls, and it has gained a reputation as being a series that is definitely for hardcore gamers. Dark Souls 3 delivers. On top of being everything you expect Dark Souls to be, it is gorgeous and a game that I think everybody needs to at least try. And number 1, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided continues the story of a world where people are augmented with various machinery to quote-unquote improve their bodies, and in many cases make up for lost limbs. Mankind Divided is about the story between people who don't have augments and people who do, and the increasing rift between them. There have been a few missteps in the development and marketing, but it seems as though those have been rectified, and let's face it, the Deus Ex world is probably one of the best and most interesting gaming worlds out there. A few bonus games for you: a side-scrolling shooting game called Cuphead, which brings a completely unique, old-school Disney art style to a genre of game that's a lot of fun. Ni no Kuni 2, the sequel to the original Ghibli-inspired JRPG. Fire Emblem Fates, another JRPG series that Nintendo has done an excellent job with. Nier Automata, an action RPG by Platinum Games as a spin-off of the Drakengard series. Routine, an alien game that reminds me a lot of Isolation but without the weapons, therefore much more terrifying. And Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is a reboot of the Mirror's Edge series that looks to redefine what's